I chose my speech to be on technology. I think this is a very present topic because we are surrounded by technology. So, for my persuasive speech, I'm going to be going over the usage and how much Americans tend to own and use technology every day. So, technology is everywhere and we depend on it for almost everything in our lives, even though we may not realize it. I see this in my own life. I think the first thing that I do in the morning is I check my phone, I'll check my emails, I'll check my social media, and then following that, I'll play music off of my phone and continue to go through my day, constantly checking it. Which I'll get into more about how people do this. So I found a stat from Malo was the author, and it says American adults spent about 3.5 hours a day using a mobile internet in 2019, which is an increase about 20 minutes from the year earlier. So this is a pretty recent study, and I assume that it's probably still tracking that way, especially more with quarantine as we're home and we have more time on our hands. So I think that this is a really interesting step because that's a lot of time that we could be using for a lot of other things that are more productive for our minds, such as like reading or spending time with family or exercising or going on a nature walk or anything like that. We all use it. We all use technology all the time. It's extremely important for our daily life. The world depends on it. Um, and we need to really ask ourselves if there's anything that we should change about that or if we should just accept that this is how it is. But it's a good question. I'm a good person to be talking about this subject, and I really wanted to research it myself because I've grown up in the world of technology. I've never known anything different. And so, not knowing like what it is to be without a phone all the time, I have no idea what that is like. And so, for as long as I can remember, technology is a huge part of my life and I use it for everything. This is a good quote I liked. So, there was a chart from Hitler that said that there was an increase every single year until 2016 when there was a big plateau of usage. And it's pretty much plateaued since then. And it was just interesting because that's when technology's developing the most. Now, pretty much everybody has their devices and they are in their rhythm of using it and are just comfortable. So these are just technology, different things that I thought that are pretty common and people use all the time. Obviously, the most common one and the most useful one, in my opinion, is the phone. A cell phone, to be exact, is important for communicating and keeping track of our schedules and knowing what time it is and all of our social media. That's how we connect with people. It's extremely important. I can't go very long without my phone, which I know is not good, but I just think that's very common for people and we use it all the time. And next is a computer. This is extremely necessary for school and work. If I didn't have my laptop, I wouldn't be able to finish this course. I wouldn't be able to do anything for school or even like apply to different colleges. It's extremely important for that and work too, especially now like working remote, everything is virtual. And so having people on their computers for 8-9 hours a day is very common. Another one is an iPad/tablet. This is very common for a lot of kids to have also. A lot of parents will give their kids tablets and it just is a good entertainment for them. And we have to ask ourselves, what is that doing to our young kids' age as well as they're developing in their brains? People also use iPads for creative design, on the go computers, all of that kind of stuff. Another one that I use personally is GPS. I use it on my phone, but it helps me get from place to place. And a lot of times, if I didn't have that, I wouldn't know how to get there. Or I just use it for time management of knowing how far something is from my house. A little bit different one would be a washing machine and dryer. It is technology, it makes our lives a lot easier and thoroughly cleans our clothes and saves time. Same as the dishwasher, very similar. It saves times with we're not washing dishes, our hands aren't getting chapped from the cold water or hot water, and so extremely important things that we use in our lives, and it is very helpful. And the refrigerator, similarly, we don't have to have ice boxes in an insulated box, but it's keeping our food fresh all the time and it's just plugged in, and so it's very helpful and very common for us. And the last one that I wrote down was a television. So this is really important for news. That's how a lot of us get our information about what's going on in the world. And it also teaches us what is happening politically and health-wise now with COVID. And TVs obviously are also used for entertainment. And we can spend a lot of time just watching the television. So in this study of Hitler, it was just performed in 2018, so not too long ago, and these stats just show really how common technology is. So 99% of Americans have cell phones. That is a lot of people. That is crazy, and that's definitely not how it always was. And so we are all very dependent on our phones for the majority of people. 97 of us use the internet. I use the internet all the time for online shopping, research, everything like that. I did this assignment with using the internet, so it's very important. And then of the 99%, 91 of us all have smartphones, which is what can give us access to the internet at our fingertips and the maps at our fingertips and everything like that. Social media, 82%, that's a big majority also. And that's created another issue that could be a whole nother topic of if that's good or not. 77% have computers. It didn't specify like laptops or desktops, but that's still a majority of people probably using it for work or such, and 58% have a tablet, so that's like an iPad, and I kind of expected that. They're still pretty common, but not as common as like computers and cell phones. So I asked, is this bad? I personally think that it can be bad, yes, if we're dependent on it. I think that I've seen that in myself, that if I cannot go without my phone or computer, I kind of ask myself why. And I should be giving my brain more stimulation, such as reading, instead of just watching a TV show on my computer. So I definitely fall into that category. If I didn't have technology, what would I do? That's another question I posed. And I think that I would like to say that I would be okay and find more time for like nature walks and just going on hikes and all that kind of stuff. But I think it would be a big adjustment. I use the verse Matthew 6:24. It says, "No one can serve two masters. Either you hate one or love another, or you will be devoted to one and despise the other." This is a really powerful verse, because if we are loving technology and so dependent on it, how are we going to be dependent on God too? And so I liked that verse for that. A way that we could change our habit would be using something called the VPN, so making it more private, like not just giving all of our information to the public. And it's a tool that we can use, but it's not something that is controlling our life. It can be a way to help do that. It doesn't fix that, but it can help that. A way to have safer internet usage would be like encryption or password manager. So this is, again, just a tool to make technology not control our lives as much, but just kind of control it in a way that is manageable for us. And all of this information is coming from Holmes, an author, and this was written in 2016. And another way that is more extreme way of changing is just deleting like a lot of these apps that we were using. Holmes deleted Google, Facebook, and WhatsApp because she did not believe what they stood for. And I think that's more extreme for what people do. I don't think technology is horrible, but it definitely needs to be monitored and used appropriately and not being controlling our life, because that is not honoring to the Lord. So these are just my references. Thank you so much.